Hello, and welcome to another episode of the You Are Not Alone podcast. My name is Debbie Gold, and I'm here with my co-host and son, Greg, and we are so glad that you're here with us. Each week on this show, we will talk about informative issues that will make you think and help you grow. It is our wish that you will find hope, encouragement, and a little bit of Jesus in every episode. Hello, and welcome to our show today. I'm here with Greg, and I'm Debbie. And today we're going to be talking about negative self-talk. Essentially what it is, why we do it, and how to correct it or stop it. So I have to, I was doing some thinking about all this, but I came to the thought that there's so much power in our thoughts, and we do a whole lot of good with them, but we can also do a whole lot of bad with them. And our words have a huge impact on the kind of life that we will have and the kind of person that we will be.
That's so true. That so many times where I've said stuff like little things that are like negative, and I just don't even realize it. Like I drop something, I'm so stupid, something like that. Like really small stuff like that. I was just thinking, because you were talking about, hey, I want to do this episode on negative self-talk. And I was just thinking to myself, when do I do that, And I kind of realized, thinking through it, I do it a lot more than I realized.
Yeah.
Like, I do it a lot, so.
Well, I think that's such a good point, because that's true for everybody until you really make yourself aware of the fact that you do that. Mm-hmm. And we all do to some degree.
Yeah. It's normal.
Some of it can be really, kind of like, I'll use my example of I was just a bad cook when I first got married to your dad.
Yeah.
Which is a story that gets passed around usually on holidays. I don't know why, but
it's funny,
it kind of comes up.
Yeah.
But, so that's just something I kind of went, oh, well, yeah, I'm not. And do I really care? I don't know. And so, but when it's something that really is important to you or really touches you, and you repeat that over and over to yourself, that's when you start doing damage internally. Yeah. And we'll talk about what some of those things can be, but okay, so what is negative self-talk? It's an inner dialogue that you have with yourself that will limit your ability to believe in yourself and to reach your potential. In other words, it will stunt your success. It will hold you back. It will,
stop you from reaching that goal.
Mm-hmm. So we definitely want to be paying attention to what our negative self-talk is and what we can do to change that.
I think that's so important, because I don't know who it was growing up, but somebody kept saying to me, watch what you say, because you'll start to believe it after a while. Like your brain will start to believe what it keeps hearing, and it'll take that on and it'll come true, basically. Not come true, but it'll, speak it in. So if you're saying negative stuff all the time about yourself, it can't be good on your brain and yourself.
Your self-confidence.
Self-confidence, how you're feeling, your social situations.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Totally, you really hit the nail on the head with that. Yes, for sure. Yeah. Absolutely. So, my one point here was that self-talk can be so automatic that we're not even aware that it's happening. And that's why we are talking about that today, because we want to get everyone aware of what is, going on in our little brains that are could be damaging to us. Mm-hmm. So just some little examples. You brought up a good one.
Like
just
if
now.
I drop something or by accident, I'm so dumb or something like that. Like little stuff.
Those little things.
Yeah.
How did I do that? Why did I do that again?
Yeah, stupid me. Silly me.
Right.
I'm so klutzy.
Another could be like, I can't do anything right, which is kind of what you're doing. Maybe there.
No, I get that. You drop something, you're like, oh my gosh, what a day.
And it seems to happen in front of the people that you think don't like you, or
oh my gosh, yeah.
The girl is watching, or it's those situations, right? Right. I'm so hopeless. Mm-hmm. Here's a good one I think about you, Greg. I'm just not good at math. I'll never pass algebra.
Oh my gosh. You've heard that how many times? Probably.
I can't even imagine how much internally you've heard that to yourself.
Oh my goodness. Almost every time I look at a sheet.
I know, right? Oh,
Especially
no.
with this math, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't do good at this job. And then they won't want to keep me.
Oh, that one's terrible. Like, if you're starting a new job, that's a terrible one to go in. Because, I mean, you're kind of essentially giving up before you even tried it, you know? You're telling yourself you're not going to be good at it before even experiencing it. So if it goes wrong, you're going to be, I knew it.
You're gonna justify. But I had a thought, I just lost it. But why would we, if you go into a situation with that kind of thought, it's not going to go well and I'm going to lose my job. You're setting yourself up for that.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking this whole time and you're going to be anxious and you're going to make mistakes and then all of a sudden you're fired.
And also, if you go in all nervous like that, you tend to overthink so much, and that's when you do make, like, stupid mistakes.
True.
Like, if you're just completely overthinking, I don't want to get fired, you're going to burn something or something because you're distracted inside. I don't want to get fired. When you should be thinking, okay,
about what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Task at hand.
So.
Yeah, that, and then the opposite is true. It's like, you know, I'm going to walk in here. This is something I'm going to love because I've researched it. I'm going to, you know, do my very best and I'm going to be the best. You go in with that kind of attitude, what do you think is going to happen?
It's probably going to go good. Yeah. Or if you go in the goal with, I'm going to make like 2 friends at this job today. It's my first shift. I'm going to try to get through this shift as best I can. Leave with a smile on my face. It'll probably work out pretty good. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, just to reiterate, you know, we all have these thoughts, but when they start reoccurring over and over with same situations,
like
repetitive, they will cause you stress. They can cause anxiety, and they can tear your self-confidence down.
Yeah, because it doesn't reflect reality at all.
No,
so.
It's right. It's not reality.
It doesn't reflect reality in any ways because it's your thoughts.
You're creating
your biased
something.
Imagination.
Right.
So.
And I talked about that cooking example, you know, and what I honestly didn't care too much. I was pretty busy with going to graduate school and just getting married, and we bought the house, and there was so much going on. But I did over time just keep. It was important to me and to a certain degree, and so I kept trying new things, and I kept trying to find ways to improve because I was married. I felt like I should be cooking sometimes, and I knew one day I'd probably have children, and so it just became a short-term goal of mine to meet the longer-term goal.
Right.
When I had a full family, and but you know, I could have just and the truth is, when I said I'm so bad at cooking, the truth is I could do some things that were okay and good. You know,
Dad told me, he was like, she was not the best, but she could still do some stuff.
Yeah,
you know, like, she could still cook.
So when I say I'm not good at cooking, that's a really good example of trying to really take that, break that down, look at it. And we're going to talk about that maybe later or in the next series that we do on this.
Maybe you just had like the skills to cook, but you didn't have the variety of foods to cook.
Yeah.
Like you could only cook, you know, meats or something like that, you know.
Well, and that's the other thing. So I grew up in Wisconsin. It's all meat potatoes. So I could make my recipes that my mom did.
Oh, yeah.
But then again, Dad from California didn't always like my mom's recipes because it wasn't, you know, it was different than when he grew up on. So there was some of that in the factor too. So
that's
and that factored in on all that. But but we have to be careful about choosing our words.
Yeah.
And believing what we're telling ourselves.
Yeah, because negative self-talk has been actually found to feed anxiety and depression, and it causes an increase in stress levels while lowering levels of self-esteem. Yeah, so it's a two-edged sword.
So you're increasing, what'd you say?
Stress levels.
Stress.
And you're lowering self-esteem.
Decreasing self-esteem.
So
and then you get all this stress and you're anxious and, you know, it's like going into that job with that. Yeah. Right? Ugh. I can see that being a disaster already.
Nightmare, yeah.
It's not even happening and it's a disaster.
Yeah. Well, I can almost relate to that situation. Do you remember when I worked at Raising Cane's for a short while?
Oh, I do, yes.
The very end part of when I was working there, backstory. I worked there for probably half a year, something like that. Less than that, I don't know.
I don't know, 3 months.
I don't even remember. Something like that, sure.
First job first job in high school.
Yeah, first like real job that wasn't near my house. And it went pretty well. It went pretty well for the beginning, and then this new manager came around, and the best way I can describe her is like a chihuahua. Short and very snappy. She was like 4'2", and she had the anger. She was just always angry. Like nothing would make her happy. And I mean, most people knew me there, but she like had a bone to pick with me for some reason.
She intimidated you.
She tried to intimidate me, and then
no, but I think she actually did with her presence.
Yeah.
You were intimidated by that, which anybody would be. No blame there.
She was my manager, so I don't want to get fired, right? But she's treating me like crap, and she has a very like angry persona.
Yeah.
So I was intimidated by that. And going to work those last couple weeks, it really wasn't as fun. It kind of took the jolly out of working there with my buddies, stuff like that. Talking crap in the kitchen, doing fun stuff like that.
Right, and I could tell because there were times that you didn't want to go to work.
Yeah.
Well, that's a sign.
Yeah.
Right? Something's not right.
I used to never not want to. I'd be like, okay, love you, bye, I'll be back.
Right.
I'd come home all happy and stuff. Yeah. I remember those past few weeks. Those last weeks.
And that's hard when you have to deal with someone like that as an adult, but as someone in high school that's still trying to deal with people and learn how to do all that.
And social skills.
It's a very tough situation.
I agree. So.
And I wish I would have told you just to quit before you did. Actually,
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, and then but here's the beauty of this. We're going to talk about positive self-talk. A little bit maybe today, I think, but more next week. We're doing a little series on just feeling good about yourself. We'll have a 3-week series. We may add more to it. We don't know, but right now we have 3 different topics lined up for us over the next few weeks here. And positive self-talk would have been, okay, so, when you're saying, you might have said, ugh, you might have felt bad about yourself. I don't know what you were thinking, but you might have said, I failed at this, my first job, I didn't make it. But you could have said, but you know what? Instead of that, the positive self-talk would be, I learned a lot from this.
I was going to say, I learned a lot.
Yeah. So you know what? Didn't work out. Stuff happens.
I remember actually the reason why I quit. It was over shoes. I was 6 hours into a shift. My manager comes up to me. Hey, those aren't non-slip shoes. I look at him like, huh? I've worked there for 3 months with the same pair of shoes every single day. And I'm 6 hours in, and I'm on the chicken, or like the basket line for the drive-thru. So I'm making orders and stuff. And the orders are like piling up as I'm just talking to the guy. And he's like, okay, that's not safe. So you're going to have to go home or go out to Target and buy some shoes or something and come back. And I was like, I was fed up because it was the short, snappy Chihuahua lady that already made me mad. And then it was the non-slip shoes. I was like, I've had it. Yeah. I'm out of here. So. Yeah. I drove to my gym that was 2 minutes away. I called my mom angrily. Or angry. Angrily. What the heck? Angry.
I angrily called my mom.
Yeah, there you go. And I was like, I'm sick of this place. Like, I've just had it. Yeah. And so we called it quits there, and I called the manager back, and I was like, okay, I quit, bye, or whatever. I don't know.
Can't afford the shoes. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I eat too much chicken. I can't afford them.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, you thought it was going to be a cool job because, it had fried chicken, and
I did learn a lot, though. It was,
Yeah.
It was an experience. It had the good, the bad, the ugly, right. And it was fun sometimes. So.
You'll have something to share with your kiddos when they get their first job and
we go to Raising Cane's together.
Come out crying, yeah.
No, I'll take them to Raising Cane's and be like, I did this when I was a kid.
That's right.
Yeah. So.
Yep. All right.
Like we had good times and bad times there. Like I remember clocking in early in the morning, and me and my buddy or whoever at the time was working with me, we'd be getting the chicken, putting it into the water, salt water, whatever, and then you put it in the milk water, you let it marinate. And we had to do like that 5 times, and we'd go in and out of the freezer. We were working hard, but it was so fun to just be there sometimes. So it had its goods and its bad. So it was a lot of fun though.
Well,
So,
good story.
yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next point, which is, so why do we do this negative self-talk? And I really think a lot of that comes from our childhood.
Mm.
Maybe some people have difficulty fitting into school. There's comments from the classroom, the classmates that you hear. You think they're talking behind your back, but you hear it, and you get left out. You compare yourself to others instead of feeling good in your own who you are.
Yeah, when I first read that, I was like, early on in childhood. Then you mentioned school.
Mm-hmm.
School is pressure, especially when you're younger. Let's say third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, all the way up till probably 11th. It is pressure
Right.
on your ego, on your social status, on what you drive,
Mm-hmm.
on what your parents do.
Yeah.
It's like pressure.
There is that. And I think it's up till about fourth grade or so that kids kind of accept everybody.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
at that point, somewhere around fourth and fifth grade, the groups and the cliques all start.
Yeah.
And then the people that have, don't fit in, like their parents don't make the money, or they don't wear the right clothes, or the whatever.
Play games that nobody else does.
Yeah.
So they don't want to blend in or whatever.
Right.
The outcasts kind of form.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and sometimes, and then people pick on other people, and
it's very, very hurtful.
Yeah, middle school and high school for negative self-talk is rough.
Yeah.
I know a lot of high schoolers that would just, say terrible stuff about themselves and then laugh it off. So,
well, I don't know what the stats are particularly for, middle school kids that have self-esteem or, issues or lack self-confidence, or your high school kids even, but I know it's pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
But also kids, so having trouble fitting into school, or you have critical teachers or critical parents.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's going to impact you. It's going to impact you. Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Mr. Scott?
I do. Totally.
He
was in middle school, and then he went up to the high school, and you were...
Really?
No, you were middle school. He was at elementary, and then he went to middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In middle school.
Wasn't he the gym teacher? No, No, he wasn't. That was...
History teacher.
History, okay.
When he called me out in class... Oh, I've never wanted to just crawl into a chair and just disappear sometimes, because all the heads would be looking at me. It was the same for every kid, but like
you felt
when a teacher calls you out and you're young like that, it's like, oh, because all the kids are looking at you. They're going to be ha ha because you're young, stuff like that.
And especially if you don't know how to answer the question right.
Yeah.
And if that happens over and over, one incident, probably not a big deal. I think we've all experienced that. Mm-hmm. But if it happens over and over, it becomes ingrained in you that I am not good enough. I don't know the answers. I'm stupid. I'm scared to even be in class anymore. Those are the kind of things. This is how this kind of rolls, right? And it can be very impactful on people.
Yeah.
Kids that are abused or neglected, fatherless boys. I really feel that they have issues with self-esteem and go into that negative self-talk.
Right.
Social media is no friend.
Oh, it's the absolute worst for negative self-talk.
Yeah.
Because there's this thing where kids can go on the internet and say the most vile, disgusting stuff,
mm-hmm.
and they know that there's no consequences, and
mm-hmm.
and they know that there's no face attached to the comment.
Yeah.
So they can just boom, no problem, throw the phone away. It's that fear of, or it's not having the fear of being identified, and really what you're saying to somebody, because people don't really understand the heaviness of some of the stuff that it can carry.
Yeah. No, they don't. People don't know.
Yeah. Like if you have a really bad day already and somebody says something to you that's like pretty hurtful or malicious, it can make your day go from bad to worse, right? Mm-hmm. But if it's like, let's say you're having a bad day, somebody says, something bad to you, it can just make your negative self-talk go out of control. So you just make your day worse.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Absolutely. And then, there's also a thing too, this I actually found when I was doing some research, but feeling close to your parents is really important. But if you don't feel loved by your parents, you don't feel that support, affection, involvement, responsiveness, that will just really create low self-esteem. I mean, those are your people.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that lift you up, build you up. And if you don't have that, that's a problem too.
Yeah, because you can't do life alone.
No, for sure, right?
Nope.
No. Ugh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
But I want to say there is good news. And I want to move on to the next point. But I was looking at a website called salteffect.com. But it says the good news about self-esteem is that self-esteem improves for most people as they grow up, which means that the quality of their relationships are also likely to improve. And that's true. If you're feeling good about yourself and you're confident and all that, your relationships are going to be affected by that and better.
People notice.
They do. They notice. So, yeah.
It's very noticeable. So.
Sadly, the opposite is true. Is when you don't feel comfortable with yourself, you don't feel like, I'm not worthy. People tend to stay.
Shy, head down. Yeah. People notice.
People notice and they tend to stay away from you. So.
Or they judge you more.
Oh, they judge you, yeah. Anyway, okay, so let's move on to the final point, which is, like I said, the good news that you can conquer this, combat it. That doesn't mean if you're struggling right now with negative self-talk and low self-esteem that you're going to be there forever. So let's talk about some ideas that will help you work through some of this stuff. One of my favorite things, and I do this every day myself when I have my prayer time with God, is I practice gratitude and I tell him everything that I'm grateful for, anything that pops into my mind, which is usually a lot, and I could ramble probably for a couple minutes. But, just us today, spending this time together, podcasting, you and I am grateful for that. And I will say that tomorrow to him when I have my prayer time.
I think that's so dang powerful. You know why? Because it makes you realize the simple things in life. I'm grateful for the clouds today, this morning. The simple things,
right.
And you start to notice the simple things more, and then you'll be high off life.
Absolutely. And just having a heart of gratitude just makes you feel better in general.
Absolutely.
So I always say that, and I mean, you've probably heard me say it many times in our podcast sessions that we do, but that is just something you should do every day. Just take a few minutes in the morning or, whenever it's good for you, and just think about the things you're grateful for.
Yeah, like if you go outside and it's a nice sunny morning, the birds are chirping, there's nice morning dew, and you listen to the birds and all the animals and stuff, how can you not wake up with a smile on your face?
Right, absolutely.
So, appreciate the small things because it can affect you in a larger scale.
Sure. The other thing is to remember not to say anything to yourself that you wouldn't say to someone else.
Yeah, that's a good one. So,
like if you're saying, oh, I'm going to go on this job interview and I'm probably not going to do well and they're not going to like me. Well,
imagine saying that to somebody else before. Yeah, that's a good point.
It's really kind of funny, right? So why would you do that? You're your own worst enemy. Don't do that to yourself.
Okay, Debbie, you're going to do terrible. Okay, I'm scared for my entire life. I have anxiety going into this interview. I'm probably going to fail it, but you'll do great. It's like you're just setting them up for failure.
Yeah. So
that makes so much sense, though. That's a great one.
That's a very good one.
Yeah.
Just be encouraging and gentle on yourself. Geez. Everyone makes mistakes. We all have struggles. We get through them.
We do.
Just be gentle. Don't be hard on yourself.
We're all human.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes.
Evaluate a negative thought. And we can look at those examples that we had earlier, like we kind of talked about my cooking one. We did kind of evaluate that and look at that. We changed it from, I'm not a good cook or I'm a bad cook to being, well, but I can cook some things good. And
or if you were trying to learn a new dish, instead of being like, oh, this dish is so complicated, I don't even know how. If I want to, I can. And it doesn't matter if I make a mistake, at least I tried.
There you go. Right, exactly. So
at least you're attempting it, and at least along the way you'll learn something.
Right. Absolutely. So we want to respond. We want to really look at what we're telling ourselves, and then really give it some thought and come up with some affirmations about that, like you said.
Yeah.
At least I learned something, or dang, I tried it and it actually worked out really good.
Did you ever have a situation like that with cooking where you've like just completely tried something new and dad loved it or something?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I've also tried something new and it's like,
Oh no.
Yeah. It happens
I
when
get
you
it.
try something new. Even if it's got 4 stars, it still may not come out. May not come out good.
I tried the soup the other night and I was all excited for it. I was like reading reviews on the soup and all that. And I try it and I'm ugh. Oh gosh, and it's absolutely terrible.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I remember the time you made egg fried rice just out of the ingredient. We had some rice left over. You took some eggs. You did. It was amazing. And I was like, wow, Greg, awesome.
Yeah.
You just did it by I think this, a little of that. Yeah. Soy sauce.
Trying it out. And it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
So it was fun.
You never know, right?
Yeah. Take the risk.
Take the risk.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
There you go. Physical activity,
Oh, that's so good
it's so good to make you feel good, right?
Setting goals and physical activity,
I like
too.
that.
That's the best.
So good to make you feel good. It's so good for you to make you feel good. Yeah. So try whatever that is for you. Just try to stay active. Mm-hmm. You just always feel better.
Absolutely.
And then, what else? Oh, this is one of my favorites. Make a list of all your positive qualities and strengths because you have them. And if you're one that's suffering a lot from, negative self-talk, and that's pretty abundant in your life, you have got to look for those things that you can do.
And then once you realize
what you're really good at, or you're good at.
Yeah, once you realize like what you're good at, you'll be like, wait, I have this, and this, and this. I have so much to bring to the table. I didn't even realize it. Mm-hmm. So
you don't. It's kind of like catching your negative self-talk. Like if you don't really make yourself aware of it, you don't even know you're doing it. So it's the same with the positive things about yourself and your strengths. You've got to you think about them. Oh my gosh, yes, I can do that. And I can do that.
Yeah,
and
like,
I'm a really good friend, or I'm a good babysitter to my sister, or I take really good care of my family.
Something like that. Yeah.
I'm a caring person, or whatever, whatever. There's a million things that it could be for you, but it's important to take the time to sit down and, write those things out or put them in your phone notes, whatever you do.
Yeah. Because it's like one thing, like, here I go again, school analogy. If we're doing icebreakers on the first day of class because like nobody knows each other, some people are like, okay, what's one good quality trait about you? And I'll be like, I don't know. But if I really sit down and think about it, I bet I could name probably 50. So you have to like really sit down and think about it, I think.
Yeah.
So, but like off the top of your head, you really can't come up with much.
Well, I can, but I've thought about it a lot. Right.
Well, just an example,
Yeah.
So,
but you should do that then if you don't feel like you can. Greg, you're so caring. I've told you recently, we saw some family, we've seen new friends, new people. Everyone tells me how much you boys are just so kind and engaging and just have good hearts. I mean, people see it in you after they've seen you for an hour.
No, with that example, I wasn't saying that I have like no.
I thought you were talking about you. Okay.
No. I'm just giving you an example.
Well, then we just told they can look for that too in themselves. We told our audience that. We gave them an idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're going to wrap it up for today, but I do want to close with that you are a good person. I want you to really hear this. You are a good person. And what's defined you in the past is not what has to define you today. So call to action would be, please stop judging yourself so harshly.
We all make mistakes.
We're all just doing the best we can, given what our experience has been, our circumstance has been. And but it is up to you right now. You can take this and change what's going on in your world. So I would like you to just write this down as a daily affirmation, positive affirmation that you could say to yourself every day. And that is, I am a good person. And what's defined me in the past isn't going to define me today. All right. Well, that is our show for today. If you liked it, leave us a review. We want some reviews.
Yeah.
Give us some feedback.
Give us some comments.
We'll take it. Anything.
Yeah.
Positive, negative.
the good, the bad, the ugly.
That's right.
Sure.
That's what we say. Anyway, all right. We love you. Thank you for listening. And remember that you're not alone.